Hey sports fans, in case you missed it, the Warriors extended their record winning streak to start the season to 22 games, and this one wasn't close thanks to Klay Thompson's scintillating first half. Just looking at these numbers, you can only imagine how on fire he truly was. Diving into the footage, it became a little less impressive because the defense was so bad on so many of his field goals. No communication, not hustling to get back. It might surprise you to discover that the Pacers are a top 10 defense when you see what's about to unfold. After a wild one-footed runner from Monte Ellis, watch how he begins wandering over towards the right side of the floor, presumably because he wants to guard Stephen Curry. But that's George Hill's man, who's also coming over to pick him up. This leaves Paul George alone to guard two players, both shooters. PG must step up to stop the ball, an easy pass for Rush, and a wide open three to get Klay going. After a tough miss by Paul George, he hangs his head for a second, and that's all the Warriors need to push the ball up and force mismatches. Now, Monte has to pick him up, giving up at least 4 inches, and when he gives Klay 5 feet of room, forget about it. When you give the Warriors second chances, you're just asking for trouble as their shooters find their spots behind the arc. CJ Miles needs to match up with Klay, and just watch him turn his head and not know what the heck is going on as Klay pulls again. Can you hear me shaking my head, CJ? Here's a nice little wrinkle from the Warriors offense. Normally, Draymond Green would set a screen for Klay, but instead, Klay calls to set a back screen. Absolutely no communication as Klay's man switches, Draymond's man doesn't, and Klay finds the open shot, attacks the closeout, and gets a layup. Open 15-footer. Sometimes after a missed shot, your defense isn't aligned the way you'd like, and Monte Ellis is back on Klay's side. He needs to pick him up as Stuckey is hustling over to pick up Steph. Monte doesn't see this and gets stuck in complete no man's land. This was a 2-on-3 fast break, which is just silly, and watch how Klay uses the hop to get the shot off quicker. I'm shaking my head at the whole Pacers team. Can you hear it? The terrible defense reached epic proportions, this time from one of the best defenders in the league in Paul George. A simple pin down from Steph, George has all the room in the world to step around and stay with Klay, yet just stands there for a second, presumably waiting for a switch that would have been completely unnecessary. Another wide open shot for Klay. Now here was good defense by Paul George. He fights through the floppy dance under the hoop and around the Bogut screen and gets a nice deflection. But he can't overrun the position here. There was no chance for the steal, yet he takes 3 steps fishing for gold, comes up empty, and Klay gets another open look at a 3. The best part of the Warriors' offense is when they push the ball into a drag screen and create a mismatch early on. Now, everyone is concerned with George Hill guarding Draymond Green, and a quick pin down forces a switch. I can't fault George Hill. There was just the slightest delay in jumping out, but at this point, because they let Klay detonate, this is all the room he needs. And finally, as this game was already a laugher, just look at Bogut laying out for this loose ball. Just awesome stuff, and Klay can take a Sunday stroll to the line and finish the Pacers off.